Now, you only actually hear the original Fire Temple music in the earliest versions of the cartridge. It was changed in... I say the Gerudo symbol was changed in the later versions. I don't think it was changed in any of the Nintendo 64 cartridges. The Fire Temple theme was changed in later versions of the cartridge, because the chanting you hear in the background is supposedly chants of scripture from the Quran. Yeah, this chant. So this chant doesn't exist in the later versions of the game. The biggest issue with the removal of it is they didn't really replace it with anything, so the Fire Temple in the later versions of the game end up being kind of... There's not really any grab to the melody. It's mostly atmospheric as a result. There has been... Oh, jeez. There has been suggestions that I've heard that Nintendo removed it because of complaints. But the removal actually predates any potential complaints. Nintendo became aware of it, I think, after the first cartridge was shipped out, and removed it themselves, preempting any potential controversy. It's also part of the thing that makes the original release, the original cartridge release, kind of a collector's item, because it's completely It's essentially Ocarina of Time uncensored in any way. There is actually one more piece of censorship that happened. The chanting was removed in later versions. The Gerudo symbol was changed because it looked kind of too much like the Islamic symbol. So, you know, that's 2 strikes for the whole thing, both aimed at Islam. My guess, both completely coincidental, but both aimed at Islam, which is kind of like, that's kind of awkward coincidence. I thought that was a fake door, and then I realised it wasn't, so I just went through it. But there is actually one more censorship change that was done in later versions, but that's going to be right near the end of the game. We'll talk about that. So the primary goal of this dungeon is to free the Gorons, and every Goron, every prison the Gorons are in, every individual one has a key, and you need the key to continue in the dungeon. And every Goron will give you a hint that you can use. It's worth talking to them if you're doing it for the first time. There we go. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but when I did Master Quest that one time, I actually stopped at the Fire Temple and never finished it. But from what I've heard, like this bit here with the Song of Time block... Where am I? With the Song of Time block is actually overused in Master Quest. Master Quest seems like a cool idea, but everybody I've ever heard talk about it having completed it generally mentions like it's a cool idea, but more than anything, it's really tedious. Watch out for the light legs. Navi will explain this. Eat shields and certain clothes. What it does is it will eat anything that is replaceable. It won't eat your Kokiri tunic, it will eat the Goron tunic, it will eat the Zora tunic that we'll get later. It won't eat the Kokiri tunic, it will eat the Hylian shield because that can be replaced. I don't remember if you find any of them as a kid, but if you do, they'll probably eat the Deku shield because it can be replaced. The shield we'll get later on, the mirror shield. they can't eat that, because that can't be replaced. That's a one-of-a-kind item that's needed for puzzles. But they're irritating, and for the most part it's worth really avoiding getting hit by them. I really could do with more bombs, because this is actually a pretty bomb-heavy dungeon. But yeah, the Fire Temple, way more straightforward than the Forest Temple. I should show off how to tell when one of those walls is fake. So I think the Goron we rescued a minute ago mentioned it, but if you hit them with your sword, they make a different noise. I should show off what that noise is. That's another key, yay! Yep. Okay. Switches in this temple you have to cut to activate. You can also use the Goron Special Crop. Whenever they say Goron Special Crop, they mean bombs. They'll never actually say bombs. For some reason. But yeah, no, this dungeon is actually the introduction of the switches that you have to hit. It's not that you have to cut them, it's that you just have to hit them. So you can use the sword, you can use bombs, you could use the hook shot or your arrows. It makes no difference, just hit them. Is there a gold sculpture on here? No. Alright, cool. Keys. Yeah, I was afraid of that happening. I think this is actually the only case of the ground being able to be to drag you with the hook shot. There we go. And now we jump on that block. And fly me to the moon. And there's the next key. You know, the chanting reminds me of another dungeon, and I can't think what it is. I never remember what these things are called. Are they like slug torches? Torch slug. Yeah. Because I always look at them and I think Slugma from Pokemon. And right now you'll be seeing a picture of Slugma flash up on the screen. So this is one of the switches that you have to cut, and when I say that, you really just have to hit. What you really want to do is get into position above it and drop a bomb on it. Because it will... if we get up here... It turns that fire off so we can climb there, but it doesn't last long. So you can't hit it and then get up there fast enough. Really do need more bombs. Damn it. Am I going to make this? Oh. I always forget this one, you can't hook shot onto that one. I mean, I suppose if you could, then you'd be able to skip the turning the fire off. What does this dungeon theme remind me of? It's something later. I feel... Is it Woodfall? It might be Woodfall from Majora's Mask. Alright, what's this one? Doors that fall down. The fake doors, right. Alright, and onwards. Okay, watch out for boulders. Is it that way? Oh, I can't reset the camera, it's not that way. Okay. there is another one down here that I need to get to. There it is. I really do need more bombs. I need someone to drop some bombs. Hey, how you doing? You know, I said the fire temple is simpler than the forest temple, but there is still a big focus on keys. When you're on fire, you can swing your sword or roll forward. It's weird that they tell you that now, considering if you're having trouble with being caught on fire, chances are it happened in the Dongo's cavern. Where is this one? I do know there's a gold sculpture in this temple that requires both the long shot and the scarecrow song to get. So, you know, that makes 100% completion so much fun. Alright, and there's that. Now this door only leads to the map. It's not necessary, but having the map is always nice. It feels kind of weird to be in a dungeon without the map on the bottom right. So let's get the map. We got the map, yay! I think this is the tallest dungeon, actually. 5 floors. Is it the tallest? The final dungeon is taller, but there's less rooms in it once you start climbing up. The water temple only has 3 floors. The shadow temple might actually have more floors. I forget how deep it goes. It doesn't go up, it goes down. Watch out for the firewall. It's really not difficult to avoid. Just get to the other side. And now we're on the top of the maze. I'm gonna have to kill one of these and hope they drop bombs. I'm gonna need more after this. Well, here we go. Oh, did it despawn? It fell down here, but it must have despawned because this is technically a different room. Alright, what do you got for me? Sure to meet up with some creatures that dance as they attack. Arrows won't hurt them. Yeah, we need bombs for those things. The flame dancers, I think they are. There's only 2 of them, but they can be kind of irritating. Generally, I think the worst enemies are the ones that will either block a lot of your hits or spend a lot of time running away from you. And the flame dancers do that. They spend a bunch of time running away from you. Alright, so I want to kill that torch slug. Just magic. It's not what I was after. That's a switch. You know, I was a little worried after actually there. I took the jump and I was like, oh no. I didn't think I'd make it. Just magic. More magic, probably. But I need to check because I need the bombs. Just magic. It's not good. Somewhere in this temple has to drop bombs, since they're so required. Find a place that you can see on the map but can't reach. Try playing your Ocarina. You know what? I'll point out what that guy's actually talking about. Because it's in this room. It's not actually required to beat the dungeon. It's required for the 100% completion because gold skulltulas. Up there. Up there, you need to play the Scarecrow song, and that lets you get up there so you can hook shot onto that platform and it takes you up. You need the Scarecrow song, and I think you also need the long shot to make it. Which means backtracking or doing the dungeons out of order. Doing the dungeons out of order isn't necessarily a bad idea. You don't need the item for this dungeon in the water temple. But the backtracking is kind of irritating. I don't really like going into dungeons once I've done them. I don't know why, it's just something that's always been kind of to me. Alright. Watch as the frame rate completely craps itself. Okay, so we want to go left in this room. And this is actually a maze. You know that fire keys might give me bombs. If I can get to it. All those pots. Don't need a heart. Don't need money. I don't need to be hit by fire. Really? You know, that was actually something I've never experienced before. The, running into the fire while I'm invincible with the invincibility frames, never experienced that before. Because it just showed off that the fire's actually counted as a solid obstacle. Which is really interesting. You know, I feel like when I was doing Resident Evil 4, I just kept getting TMP ammo. Okay, not that way, not that way. Done this wrong. Okay, do it again. Okay, this way. It's one of these. There we go. There we go, bombs. It's just 5, but is 5 going to be enough for the dungeon? No, it isn't. 10 might be enough for the dungeon then. So this is a fake door. The wall behind it is also fake. And what I was trying to do was actually hit the wall so we could show off the noise it makes, but nope, hitting it just makes the door fall. Flare dancer. So you throw a bomb at it. No, you don't. Use the hook shot. What am I thinking of? Jeez. I got confused thanks to the Goron. The thing about using bombs is really to catch it when it runs around, but you really don't have to. Okay, and then it comes out blue. So I don't think you can actually kill this on the first 2 cycles. I think you do have to get this on the 3rd. But I do think it is still damage based. You hit it 3 times, then it jumps back in. It comes back out green. Grab it. Okay, I want to grab it before it jumps back into the fire. Damn it. It's going to get back in, isn't it? No, I managed to get it good. That was messier than it needed to be. You might be asking, where to now? Why not check out this block? Da 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 da.